In the star-studded history of modern boxing, few have a resume as glittering as Sugar Shane Mosley. This man stepped into the squared circle with legends, titans, and future Hall of Famers. We're talking about the best of the best: Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez, Oscar de la Hoya, Miguel Cotto. The list is a who's who of boxing royalty from the late 90s through the 2010s. Mosley wasn't just a participant in these mega fights. He was a three-division world champion, known for his own blinding speed and concussive power. So when a warrior like Mosley is asked a simple question, who hit you the hardest? His answer carries immense weight. It cuts through the hype and gives us a glimpse into the raw, punishing reality of elite-level boxing. You might think the answer would be obvious. Maybe Pacquiao, the Filipino whirlwind who dropped Mosley in 2011? Or perhaps the relentless pressure fighter Miguel Cotto, who battled Mosley to a hard-fought decision. What about Antonio Margarito, a man famed for his iron chin and granite fists, who Mosley brilliantly dismantled? The answer, however, is none of them. Prepare to be surprised, because the man Mosley credits as the hardest puncher he ever faced is a name that, while respected by hardcore fans, might not be the first to leap to mind for casual viewers. Throughout his incredible 60-fight professional career, Shane Mosley was defined by his willingness to take on all comers. He never shied away from a challenge, consistently seeking out the most dangerous opponents available. This journey puts him on a collision course with some of the most feared punchers of his era. Let's set the stage. In 2011, Mosley faced Manny Pacquiao. At that time, Pacquiao was a destructive force of nature, tearing through weight classes and leaving a trail of battered opponents in his wake. His power was legendary, a blend of speed and torque that seemed almost unnatural for his size. In the third round of the fight, Pacquiao connected with a short, straight left that sent Mosley crashing to the canvas, a rare sight for a fighter known for his sturdy chin. Mosley got up and survived the full 12 rounds, but he experienced the Pac-Man's power firsthand, ultimately losing a wide unanimous decision. He felt that thunder, and yet Pacquiao wasn't the one. Before the Pacquiao fight, back in 2007, Mosley went to war with Puerto Rico's Miguel Cotto at Madison Square Garden. Cotto is an undefeated welterweight champion, a menacing stalker with a crippling body attack and a lethal left hook. He was considered a truly heavy-handed customer at 147 pounds. The fight was a tactical, brutal affair, a classic Puerto Rico versus USA showdown. It was a close, grueling contest that went the distance, with Cotto earning the unanimous decision. Mosley absorbed Cotto's best shots for 12 rounds, testing his durability against one of the division's premier power punchers. Cotto's thudding blows were notorious, yet he still wasn't the man Mosley would name as the hardest hitter. Then there's the case of Antonio Margarito, the two-on a tornado. Margarito was a relentless volume puncher with a reputation for overwhelming his opponents with sheer pressure and clubbing power. When he and Mosley met in 2009, many expected a tough, draining night for Sugar Shane. Instead, Mosley put on a master class. He systematically broke Margarito down, using his superior speed and boxing IQ to land punishing counters. He rocked Margarito repeatedly before finally stopping him in the 9th round. Mosley didn't just beat a feared puncher, he dominated and stopped him. It was a career-defining performance that showcased Mosley's own power and resilience. And let's not forget the legends he faced who, while not solely defined by one-punch power, could certainly crack. He fought the Golden Boy, Oscar de la Hoya, twice, winning both encounters in electrifying fights. He also shared the ring with the young, powerful Canelo Alvarez towards the end of his career, and of course, the defensive master Floyd Mayweather. Each of these men brought their own unique brand of offense to the table. Mosley weathered storms from all of them. He stood in the pocket, exchanged fire, and tasted the power of a generation's worth of champions. So if it wasn't Pacquiao, Cotto, Margarito, De La Hoya, or Canelo, who was it? Who possessed the kind of raw, natural power that left a lasting impression on a man who had felt it all? The answer, according to Shane Mosley himself, is Vernon Forrest. The Viper. For many, This is a surprising choice, but for those who remember Forrest's reign, it makes perfect sense. Vernon Forrest was a formidable champion, a key figure in the welterweight division in the early 2000s. He was a tall, long, and exceptionally skilled boxer with a ramrod jab and devastating power, especially in his right hand. Mosley and Forrest fought twice in 2002, to fights that would dramatically alter the course of both of their careers. Coming into their first fight, Mosley was undefeated, sitting atop the pound-for-pound lists, and was the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. He was the star, the heir apparent to the throne. Forrest was the mandatory challenger, a respected but underestimated former Olympian. What happened that night in New York City shocked the boxing world. In the second round of their first encounter, Forrest landed a massive right hand that sent an off-balance Mosley stumbling into the ropes. It was a clean, powerful shot, but it wasn't just a flash knockdown. Moments later, Forrest cornered Mosley and landed another thunderous right hand that dropped him hard. It was the first time in Mosley's professional career that he had ever been knocked down. He rose on unsteady legs, his invincibility shattered. For the rest of the fight, Forrest used his size, strength, and that punishing power to dominate Mosley, winning a clear unanimous decision and taking all the belts. It wasn't just a loss for Mosley, it was a beating. He was never truly in the fight after that second round. 6 months later, they had a rematch. Mosley, determined to avenge his only loss, came in with a different game plan. The fight was much closer, more tactical, but the outcome was the same. Forrest again walked away with a unanimous decision victory. He had Mosley's number. Years later, when reflecting on his career in an interview with The Ring magazine, Mosley was unequivocal. When asked who hit the hardest, he didn't hesitate. It was Vernon Forrest. Mosley said, "I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just natural. Forrest just hit the hardest." That statement is incredibly telling. It wasn't about the speed of Pacquiao or the body shots of Cotto. It was about the pure, bone-jarring, natural shock of Forrest's power. It was a different kind of pop, a heavy-handedness that Mosley hadn't experienced before and wouldn't experience again, despite all the legends he would go on to fight. Vernon Forrest was a two-weight world champion, holding titles at welterweight and super welterweight. He finished his career with a stellar record of 41 wins, 3 losses, and 1 no contest, with 29 of those wins coming by knockout. His legacy is forever tied to those 2 dominant victories over a prime Shane Mosley. He proved that on any given night, power can be the ultimate equalizer. Tragically, Forrest's life was cut short in 2009, a devastating loss for the boxing community. But his skill, his achievements, and, as Shane Mosley can attest, his incredible power will never be forgotten. So next time you're debating the biggest punchers in boxing, remember the man who hit Sugar Shane the hardest. It wasn't the obvious choice, but it was the one that mattered most to the man on the receiving end. The Viper, Vernon Forrest. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's fascinating how a fighter's own experience can give us such a unique perspective. Who do you think is the hardest puncher of that era? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look back at boxing history, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. See you in the next one.